Hey guys, it's me, Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. How are you doing this evening? Well, we're going to talk about our favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a cool subject for ourselves today. I've had some people ask me questions about what I believe, what my opinion is about cigarette smoking and vaping. And the topic for today is, can smoking cigarettes or vaping cause you to lose sales and selling? Okay, that's a pretty good question. I am a person who has been around a long time. I'm in my 50s now, and one of the things that I know that from my past is that when I was a kid, everybody smoked. And then one day, the Surgeon General put on the pack of cigarettes that it could kill you. Okay, but people were already addicted, and on TV and on the news and on everybody was smoking in the movies. Everybody was smoking, so people that were young, they thought, hey, it must be okay. And when I was in high school, people dipped tobacco, chewing tobacco. Yeah, I know it sounds gross, but they thought it was cool, and they ended up getting addicted to nicotine, and later they started smoking because it was more sociably accepted. Now today we've got people who are getting off of cigarettes, which are really, really bad, and they are vaping. Some people use the gum, some people use the patch to get off and quit it completely. And some people do it the old fashioned way, which is cold turkey. And I'm going to tell you what, it is not fun for people to quit. It's like a bad drug like heroin. Nicotine is such a strong drug that I've seen people actually almost seem like they were losing their minds because they just had to have that fix of nicotine. And today people are quitting and they're started smoking these vaping apparatuses and things of this nature, which they can be very costly. You got caustic materials that are being added to the different types of blends that they have, and some of the chemicals that they're using, especially the flavored ones, can cause a lot of damage. And the writing's on the wall. Eventually we're going to find out more. And with this COVID thing, it seems like people who were smokers and people who had lung issues and vaping, they were more susceptible to, catching the coronavirus, which, whether that's true or not, I'm just saying because it messes with your respiratory, your lungs and so forth, it seems very plausible. The question is, can smoking cigarettes or vaping cause you to lose sales in selling? I'm probably going to have to say yes, and the reason why I feel that way is I've seen where customers, when people are talking to them who've just got through smoking a cigarette, they're doing this. If you smoke cigarettes, smoke pot, even people who vape get vape breath. And you may say, well, I don't have vape breath. Get somebody to breathe on somebody, and I'm going to tell you what, you get vape breath, and it does not smell good. Now, cigarette breath is really, really bad. I mean, literally. It really, really is. And you can say, well, I don't smoke that much. Well, see, it lingers in your hair, your clothes, your body. So if if you're smoking in between cells, you may think by spraying cologne on you, washing yourself up, and then doing things like chewing gum is not going to cause you any issue. But I'm going to tell you a secret. It does. It really does. It can cause people to lose easy sales because it's offensive. It offends people, and I've seen it in my wholesaling career over the years that people are less inclined to buy from people who are actually smokers. Now, I'm not saying that people won't buy from smokers or vapors, but they're looking at you as though they don't even know it psychologically because they've been told it's bad for you. It's bad for you. You shouldn't smoke. Shouldn't smoke. So a lot of people have quit smoking because they find out that, hey, man, smoking ain't good. And people are dying left and right. And if you smoke, I'm guaranteeing this, your grill, your teeth from cigarettes and vaping will diminish the quality of your look. It will destroy your smile. I've seen where people who were friends of mine that smoke for years and years and years have to have all their teeth pulled because of the nicotine that's built up and the tar that's built up, and it caused them to have cavities. And you can brush your teeth all you want, but I'm sorry to tell you that what happens is over time it will destroy the quality of your look. It really will. And people, believe it or not, they are judgmental. Everybody don't want to be a judge person. They don't want to judge this and they don't want to judge that. But we all have our, let's just say, prejudices. And I mean, sometimes people, if they see that you smoke, they may not even give you a chance to even have a selling conversation with them. And the same with vaping, because they find the smell, the odor very offensive. Now, if you're a smoker, you do what you want to do. I ain't telling you what to do. I've just had people ask me to talk about this and the selling things that it can cause. I've seen it. I've seen some really great salespeople. See, back when I was a younger person back in the 80s, a lot of people, smoked. After every talk, door to door, I used to work door to door, and I used to watch my friends. After every person they talked to, they would smoke a cigarette. And it was like they would carry the cigarette, and you could see the smoke bellowing. And back then, it was a little bit more it was okay. Then I used to work in the malls back in the early 90s, and I worked with some really great companies. And at that time, you were able to smoke in the malls, and I watched people smoking, and some customers, they would put their hands over their nose, and they started to become what they call offended by it. And so rules and regulations came around because they found out secondhand smoke kills. And believe me, it really does. You may not think that you smell like cigarettes. You may think that you don't smell like vaping. But I'm going to warn you, you do. And people, they notice. And see, a lot of times people buy from us because they want to trust us. And if you're selling any kind of products that's got to do with the health, if you are smoking cigarettes and selling insurance, I can pretty much say, you're going to lower your percentage of sales, and you may end up, selling people and stuff, but you might lose the close ones. And see, a lot of times people, they want to quit smoking because they know it's not good for them, so they switch over to vaping. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people in the last, few years go on to vaping. Now, what happens is all they're doing is changing one drug for another. And you may say, well, vaping's not a drug. Well, you're switching with nicotine. If you go in to start smoking with these different products that don't have any nicotine, you will go through major withdrawals. And the amount of nicotine that goes in through these vaping can be almost sometimes double the amount of nicotine that you would get from a cigarette. Now, you get less carcinogens, and they add a lot of chemicals to cigarettes that can be volatile. They can be destructive. I mean, literally, it can age you. Look at people who have been smoking over a long period over a period of time. Look at their faces. You'll notice that their mouth seems sunk in, especially women. And for some people, they say, well, I smoke cigarettes because it keeps me from gaining weight. Yeah, it's killing your ass. I mean, they tell you right there, can cause cancer and all kinds of stuff, but it can also mess up your beautiful smile. And I'm not going to say that I'm telling you what to do. I'm not a preacher. I'm more like a teacher. I share what people ask me to share, and I like your opinions. I've got a lot of great sales videos, but one of the things I've learned in my selling career is you need to have an edge. You need to be able to be different than your competitors. And if you've got a competitor who's smoking and they have a decent presentation, but you have a decent presentation also, they may shun you as a smoker. And I ain't saying it's right, but I'm saying this is what happens. I've seen it. I've seen people get offended and walk away from people who smell like cigarettes. And I'm not going to ever say that when I'm in situations and stores and stuff that I haven't smelled people who smelled, overly, it's like a formaldehyde. It's got this smell that can cause people to walk away from you. And with vaping, I've had some managers and I've had some salespeople that I've worked with, and I noticed that their teeth are starting to rot, they're starting to turn yellow, and they have this vaping breath. Now, you may say, oh, I use the ones that smell good. Well, I'm sorry to say, based on the dentist and the orthodontist and the periodontist and stuff like that, there's things inside your mouth that they are activated when you use vaping, and you use these chemicals that can cause to damage your teeth. Now, I did my research because I wanted to see, what professionals thought about it, and they say it's better to vape than it is to smoke cigarettes, but I'm going to be quite honest with you, your lungs are very important. A lot of young people are thinking that this is the future because it looks cool. A lot of people who smoke cigarettes and dipped, they did that only because they thought it was cool. Then what ended up happening was they got addicted. Addicted. Did you hear what I said? And it costs money. I think a pack of cigarettes now may be as little as $4 or $5, all the way up to $7 or $8, depending on where you live. Dip, I've seen cans of dip. My friends paying anywhere from $5 to $7. That's a lot of money. In vaping, once you run out of your juice, you're always having to get more. You got to get new cartridges. And those vaping systems, they don't seem to last as long as they say they will, because I've watched people have to replace them every so often, and it can get kind of costly. Now, our conversation, because my name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. I'm not your mommy, and I ain't your daddy, and I ain't telling you what you should do, but what I'm offering is some insight to things you may not have thought about when it comes to selling, smoking cigarettes, and vaping. Can smoking cigarettes or vaping cause you to lose sales? I'm pretty guaranteed sure to say yes. If you work on straight commission, or if you work on commission, it's important that we sell even the closest ones and have an edge on all of our presentations and our sales. What happens is I've been in a box store where I was selling furniture, and I work with these guys that every so often they have to walk out the door while I was in line waiting for a customer to come in, and they would lose their position in line, and they also lost their opportunity for more sales. So if you're smoking, and if you're one of these kind of people that can smoke one cigarette for an 8-hour shift, if you're working indoors in a selling environment, that's cool. If you work maybe one or two and you can do it at lunch, that's okay too. But if you have to smoke a cigarette every 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm going to tell you what, I have seen it for myself. People, they got to have it. They got to have it. It's addiction, man. And I'm just warning you that you're going to lose easy sales and sales that you deserve. Because, see, we're salespeople. We want to be the best we can be. We want to be number one, and we want to be successful. But people are watching us, and they're always watching to see what we're doing. And people, if they see that your breath doesn't smell right, if you look disheveled, your teeth are all raggedy looking, I ain't saying they're going to judge you based on that. But people do what they do. And smiling, and I don't care if you're young and beautiful right now, if you vape and if you smoke cigarettes, there will be consequences, and I guarantee you it's not going to be the ones that you think are so important. So if you had a choice, maybe you might want to consider maybe quitting. Cold turkey. I know some people, they did the gum at the same time for a month, and it was very, very difficult for them. At the end of the 30 days, they didn't smoke anymore. And I have quite a few of my friends who did it that way. Some people were able to do it with the gum alone. Some people, they just cold turkeyed. Some people did the patches, and now people, they're trying to say, oh, I'm trying to quit smoking. Well, that's great. But if you go and start smoking another source, vaping, you're taking nicotine, and sometimes it can be stronger nicotine from one to another. Yeah, I would probably say vaping may be a little bit safer and maybe not as offensive to a lot of people. But what about your health? What about the things people are watching? Your children are watching you. People are watching you. And if you've got to have something to make you feel good, sometimes people won't buy from you because they don't trust you. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. We just had a very simple conversation about, can smoking cigarettes or vaping cause you to lose sales? You got to do what you got to do. You got to make your own opinion, and you've got to remember, to thine own self be true, and you got to make that choice. Do me a favor, go out there and sell something. Remember, your health is very important, and people are watching us. They are judging us. We need every edge we can get. So have a nice day. Do what you want to do. My name is Gary Lee Stanley. We just had a great conversation about, should you stop smoking? I don't know. That's up to you. Hope this will help you. Oh.